The anime starts with an ugly loser tomboy called Tomo, who confesses her love for her childhood friend, Jun. But Jun sees her as a boy, thinking she meant it as a friend. Tomo plays along with it to hide her embarrassment. Tomo and Jun grew up together as neighbors. The first time he saw her in a skirt, he even thought she wanted to be a transformer. Jun playfully spanks her cake and gets met with a punch to the stomach in return. Later in class, Tomo asks her friend Misuzu for some advice with Jun, and she tells her to try speaking with a more feminine tone rather than sounding like Shaq. So she tries it out. But Jun tells her she sounds even more like an old man. This results in an altercation where Tomo socks the shit out of him. Later she gets home, and her karate-obsessed father saw bruises on her face and demanded an explanation. She explained that she had a fight with Jun, and her father was more mad that she lost a fight to a nerd like him, since he had been training her since she was little. The next day, Jun apologizes for the fight they had yesterday. He says life would be boring without her, which turns her on, as they squash their beef. Later, Misuzu asks why Tomo always has lunch with her instead of Jun. Tomo responds saying she doesn't want people to think they're dating yet. So Misuzu makes the three of them have lunch together, despite her having personal beef with Jun. Later, Jun's friend asks him how long he's been clapping Tomo's cheeks, but the dumb-ass mistakes smashing for doing contact sports and says they've been doing karate since they were kids. Misuzu, who was listening close by, later went and told Tomo about Jun saying he laid the pipe on her. This got Tomo mad, and she stormed into the classroom to beat the shit out of Jun. Misuzu later explained to Tanabe that Jun has no idea Tomo is a girl. He's shocked because Tomo clearly has a huge personality. It then starts raining, and Misuzu approaches Jun asking him why he's not in any of the school clubs. He says he already does karate with Tomo and doesn't want to be in a club that Tomo isn't a part of. She then asks what he'd do if Tomo got a boyfriend. This triggered Jun, who shoved Misuzu into the rain. Tomo arrived quickly after finding them waiting for the rain to stop. Misuzu tells her now's her chance, and she shares an umbrella with Jun while walking home with him. As they're on their way, Tomo refused to get too close to him as she didn't want it to look like they were dating. She lied and said she was sweaty from karate and didn't want to stink next to him, so he got close to sniff, which made her freak out and run off. Jun eventually caught up with her and noticed that her shirt was wet, giving him a view of her assets. The dumb virgin gave her the umbrella and ran off, leaving Tomo confused. The following day in karate practice, Tomo's sparring partner was too busy admiring her skills and caught a nasty kick to the face. Tomo reveals to Misaki that she trains with the guys because she kicked the girls' asses so hard that no one wanted to spar with her. Misaki mentioned that she was charming, which had her blushing like crazy because no guy had ever told her that. Later, two ugly girl brats get jealous after seeing Tomo talking to Misaki. The next day, they confront her and tell her to meet them after school.
Oh, shiver my timbers!
Tomo uses her manly aura to intimidate and freak them out. Misuzu later tells Tomo that girls aren't supposed to communicate using their fists, but rather their words. She took the advice and met up with the two ugly girls, but still had them scared as shit with her manly aura. They build up the courage to say that they like Misaki and wanted some advice since she was close to him. She drops her manly act and rejoices as the day had come that girls asked her for girly love advice. She reassures them and says the first step to shooting their shot with Misaki would be to become her friend, and they accepted. Later on, while Tomo and Jun rode the bus home, Tomo decided to stand, while upset that Jun still doesn't see her as a girl. That's when a creepy bald-headed old fart starts getting touchy with Tomo's skirt. Her immediate reaction is to send his fat ass into oblivion, but she first waits to see if Jun would notice. After what felt like an eternity, Jun finally noticed and confronts the chrome dome, then reports him to the authorities before asking if she's okay. She feels he's finally starting to treat her like a girl, but Jun then immediately tells her to stop wearing skirts and try dressing like the man she is.
How would you say that?
Tomo later informs Misuzu of everything that happened. Misuzu at first was highly concerned for her, until Tomo told her that Jun took care of everything. She brought up what Jun said about her wearing skirts, and to Tomo's shock, Misuzu agrees, saying her skirt is too short. She tells her that if she's going to wear skirts, then at least wear it without those goofy-ass shorts underneath. Tomo takes her advice, and while walking home with Jun, she wears her skirt without the shorts, just straight undies. She hopes it'll make Jun notice her as a girl. While on the bus, Jun can't help but imagine all the guys wanting to get touchy with Tomo. Off the bus, Tomo notices that Jun is walking too fast, and as she grabs him, her skirt gets blown by the wind, giving Jun a HD view of her salmon. Jun later apologizes for telling her what she should and shouldn't wear, and tells her to dress the way she feels most comfortable dressing. The next day at the gymnasium, Tomo tells Misuzu that'll be the last time she wears a skirt with no shorts underneath. Jun later tries his best to act like nothing happened when he saw Tomo in the hallway. Suddenly, a blonde with plots the size of Everest walked into the classroom, immediately becoming the center of attention. Tomo wondered how she was so popular, and Misuzu explained it was because of her big personality. She thinks to herself that if she befriends her, maybe she can attract all the horny guys too. That's when Misaki appears with Carol alongside him. Tomo was caught off guard as the two of them reveal that they've known each other since they were kids, and have a weird fake marriage together. Carol labeled Tomo as a dude before getting corrected, and from that day onwards, Carol's favorite hobby was to call Tomo stupid every chance she got. Later, Carol pulled Misuzu to talk and ask some questions about Tomo. She asks her what the fastest way would be to knock Tomo out. Misuzu sought out an opportunity to stir drama, so sends her to Jun. The weird bitch spoke to him from inside his locker and asked him to be her personal trainer from now on. Of course, Jun couldn't say no because of two very big reasons. Tomo freaked out when she saw the two of them leaving class together. It was all part of Misuzu's plan to make Tomo jealous and have more urgency to win over Jun's heart. During karate practice, while delivering beatings on her sparring partners, Tomo couldn't stop thinking about what Jun and Carol might be up to. They begin training as Jun starts to realize just how useless this bitch really is. Tomo appears shortly after, seeing the two of them training. She gets mad and asks him what he's doing with her. Carol then has a sudden change of heart after realizing Tomo isn't trying to steal her man. She makes peace with her, then leaves. She later meets with Misuzu as they share a cake together. Carol reveals that she has no friends and wants to befriend Misuzu. Misuzu advises her to become friends with Tomo instead. Carol thinks she's already destroyed their relationship, but Misuzu reassures her that Tomo will forgive her. So the following day, Carol asks to be her friend, and is shocked when Tomo agrees to be friends, as she's used to being rejected by all the girls she comes across. Tomo and Jun are later having their usual bro conversation when Jun accidentally drops the bomb that he used to date Misuzu back in middle school. This left Tomo in a state of complete shock. After Jun left, Tomo felt a little betrayed that her two best friends kept such a secret from her. She went to confront Misuzu about it, but Misuzu brought up the point that she didn't know Tomo liked Jun at the time. Their relationship also didn't last longer than 3 days. Misuzu sat her down and explained everything, revealing that Jun one day asked her out on a date out of nowhere. With a sly smirk on her face, she agreed to go on a date to make the other girls in the school jealous. They went cycling on their first date, which to Misuzu felt more like torture than a date. That's when Misuzu approached him the following day to break off the relationship. But Jun beat her to it, dumping her first and damaging her ego for life. Tomo asked if they ever clapped during their relationship, and Misuzu replies saying the most they did was hold hands. Later on, Jun reassured Tomo that he no longer has feelings for Misuzu. Tomo asked him if there was anyone he had a crush on currently, and Jun tells her no, which had her relieved. The following day, Tomo and Jun ran into Misaki. Jun remembered getting told by Misuzu that there was a guy from the karate club that Tomo was spending a lot of time with. Jun instantly karate chopped his ass, causing Tomo to freak out and rearrange Jun's face. Jun quickly apologized while squeezing Misaki's hand really hard, showing him who his daddy is. After school, Jun was ready to walk home with Tomo, but she was planning to ditch him to have tea with Misuzu and Carol. That left Jun in an awkward situation where he's waiting at the same bus stop alone with Misaki. Jun remembered Tomo scolding him to mend his relationship with Misaki, so he tried initiating a convo while sitting next to him on the bus. Misaki asked if he would join his karate club, but Jun gave him a death stare, saying he wouldn't join as he wouldn't be able to beat Tomo, so he'll continue training at Tomo's dad's dojo. They both go on about just how good Tomo is at karate, so Jun warns Misaki not to tell Tomo that they spent a whole bus journey glazing her. The next day, Tomo was happy to hear that Misaki and Jun were now cool with each other, as Jun found it hard making new friends because of how intimidating he was. Shortly after, Jun appeared and scared the shit out of Goldilocks. Later that day, while grabbing a drink together, Misuzu advised Tomo to go out and spend more time with Jun before some other whore comes and steals his heart. Tomo takes the advice and asks him during class if he'd want to hang out somewhere. Jun becomes elated, like a dog that just got given a treat. Misuzu later reminds her that she has to treat it like a real date, and not two bros hanging out. Carol arrives and tells Tomo that her dress scent stinks, so they help her find some new clothes for the date. In the store, Tomo becomes overwhelmed, as if it's the first time she's ever seen girl clothes. They pick out some clothes that will make her look more girly instead of looking like a stud. Tomo thanks them for their help, as they ask that Tomo tells them every detail from her date. Tomo eventually linked up with Jun, looking like a total snack. She was expecting Jun to notice something different about her, But the bozo didn't notice a thing as they went to do a few fun activities before they ended up at karaoke. She feels a little awkward being in such a small room alone with him. But when she saw that Jun was just having fun, she loosened up a bit and sang a song to not ruin the night. Of course, her singing was enough to make someone's ear bleed, so Jun began laughing at how goofy she looked and started recording. The following day, Tomo explained to Misuzu how embarrassed she was, singing kids' songs with her manly-ass voice. Misuzu says that's what happens when you're trying too hard to have fun. The girls approached Jun and asked to see the video, but Tomo chased after them to prevent them from watching it. That's when the smooth-brained Jun finally realizes there was something different about Tomo that day. The next day, Tanabe ran into his crush Misuzu and tried his desperate riz on her, but Misuzu dismissed his nerdy ass. Several hours later, Tanabe asked Jun why Misuzu never smiles. Jun disagrees with him, saying she smiles all the time, which has Tanabe believing Jun gets special treatment from her. He then goes on to attempt to make Misuzu smile, but she warns him that she has a sharp pencil in her hand, then tapes his mouth for talking too much. They later crossed paths again and Tanabe admitted that he likes her. She tells him to act normal around her, and maybe then will she reject him with a smile. Tomo later saw two girls playfully hugging, which made her sad, wondering what it'd be like to be a cute feminine girly. She revealed to Misuzu that when she tried hugging friends in the past, she'd almost break their damn necks, so the girls became distant from her. Tomo suggested that herself and Misuzu try hugging, but Misuzu turned her down immediately. She then later bumped into Carol as Misuzu sent her to hug Tomo. They hugged and Tomo felt a feeling she had never felt before as Carol's assets pushed up against her. This made Tomo want to hug every girl she saw, especially Carol. Since this was happening a lot, they sensed some bad vibes coming from Misuzu, who seemed a little jealous. Carol felt that she might have been at fault, so went up to Misuzu and aggressively apologized. But Misuzu told her that she was not the problem at all. She eventually sat down with Tomo, apologizing for giving off those bad vibes, saying she didn't mean to upset her. Misuzu, being unusually open, admits that she wouldn't mind if they hugged every now and then. Tomo was excited to hear this and grabbed her close. Misuzu asked her why she doesn't hug Jun like this since she likes him. Tomo started blushing, saying it's complicated. However, she was willing to give it a go. So a few hours later, she spotted him and made her move. She entered him from behind, but he yanked her away, which resulted in a fight breaking out between them. The next morning, Tomo got woken up by Jun, and when she saw he was in her room, she bugged out. They then had breakfast with Tomo's mom. When Jun asked where Tomo's dad was, Tomo's mom starts getting worked up when she explains that he's in the dojo like always. They go down to visit him, and he's angry that they're late. He rarely sees his wife, so still gets shy around her and even faints when she touches him. Later in school, the two ugly girls approached Tomo and told her about some drama they're involved in. Ogawa was being hit on by an older student, who's also the leader of a scary group. He apparently doesn't take rejection too well, so they want Tomo to accompany them when they go to reject him. When they get there, Tomo breaks the news to him that Ogawa isn't interested in his ugly ass. He responds by teasing her about how manly she looks, which makes Tomo mad. So she sends him flying with a kick to the chest. He later meets up with his goons, as they plan their get back on Tomo. However, Jun, who was not far from them, overheard their talk, so kicked the thug before they could make their move. They later eventually caught up to Tomo, but to apologize rather than fight her. Tomo later told Jun that she didn't remember beating the thug up that badly, and when asking how Jun got hurt, he replied saying he fell down. Some days later, Tomo and Misuzu make their way to Carol's house to hang out together. They get to the gate of her house and run into Carol's mother, who's just as much of an airhead as Carol is. She asks Tomo what her intentions are with her daughter, before realizing Tomo is a girl and not a dude trying to lay the pipe on Carol. She invites them in and they enter her mansion. They're shocked to see how huge her house and room is, saying she lives like a princess. Misuzu excused herself to go to the bathroom, but noticed Carol's mom following her like some creep. Misuzu asked what she wanted. Carol's mom said she noticed her being mean to her daughter, and asked why this was. Misuzu bluntly replied saying she's only Carol's friend because she's rich, which made Carol's mom start chuckling. After hours of getting whooped at board games, Tomo and Misuzu say their goodbyes and head home. The following day at school, Tomo was freaking out because of the upcoming exams she completely forgot about. So they make a plan for the three of them to study for the exams at Misuzu's place. Jun comes out of nowhere and insists on helping Tomo study, but Misuzu put him in his place, calling him too dumb to tutor someone. They later arrived at Misuzu's crib and Tomo noticed a lot of changes since the last time she visited. When she asked why Misuzu hasn't let her visit for a while, Misuzu said it's because when they were kids, Tomo would behave like a monkey, breaking everything in sight. During their session, Tomo couldn't understand the math questions, so Carol solved it easily in her head, despite her looking like a complete airhead. Tomo said she wants to work hard to get into the same university as Misuzu, but unfortunately for her, there's a higher chance of seeing pigs fly. After the exams, Tomo ranked number 70, which isn't great, but it's an improvement, while Jun ranked 54th. Misuzu ranked 2nd and Carol somehow ranked number 1. Jun later invited Tomo over to spend the night and play video games. Tomo agreed without hesitation. Before realizing what she had done, she became nervous knowing she's going to spend the night at Jun's place. She considered telling him that she won't be coming, but Misuzu and Carol encourage her to go. At home, she tells her parents that she'll be spending the night at Jun's place, and she was surprised when she saw that they didn't give a shit. So she heads next door to Jun's crib. Tomo is shocked to find out Jun's mom had gone on a trip, so it was just the two of them tonight. They sit down and eat some of Jun's homemade curry. Then Tomo goes to take a shower before they play video games. When she got out, she felt so much awkwardness in the room, but that quickly faded when they began playing their video games. Tomo won the first game, but Jun stepped up and dominated her in every other game. Time flew by and it was already 10 p.m., so they went to bed. Jun mentioned how fun it was today playing with her. Tomo blushed and was close to confessing her feelings to him, but he was already fast asleep. So the creep Tomo got close to him and started messing with him and holding his nose. This made Jun kick into his fighting reflexes and start choking Tomo in his sleep. In the morning, Jun woke up to see Tomo in his bed, so freaked out. It was time for Tomo to leave, so they said their goodbyes. It was only after she left that she realized she had slept in the same bed as Jun. On their way to school, things became even more awkward, and it remained that way for about a week. The following week, Tomo got gifted some shitty glasses for her birthday. She asked what it was for. The dumb bitch really forgot it was her own birthday. She went to show them off to Misuzu, who didn't really give a fuck. But she had her own present to gift her, which was a few reference books for her dumb ass to read. Meanwhile, Carol gifted her a literal bar of gold. As an extra gift, Carol and Misuzu planned something together over at Misuzu's house for her this weekend. When she got there, they decided to give her manly ass a makeover and look as feminine as possible. The birthday makeup makes her look like a completely different woman altogether. Carol and Misuzu have a sudden urge for ice cream and trick her into going outside to buy it, wanting her to be seen in her new outfit and makeup in front of other guys. She bumps into Jun in the store, but the box head doesn't recognize her. She dashes out the store out of embarrassment and trips. Jun tries to help her up, but feels like he's seen that face before. It feels weird for her to be touched so delicately by Jun, so she asks if they can walk together for a while. He has an internal conflict with himself trying to figure out if it's Tomo. They end up walking past some kids playing football, and Tomo cheered them on, immediately feeling embarrassed for acting too manly. Jun pointed out the boy and girl together, saying he also has a girl best friend, but things have been different lately, unlike when they were kids. Tomo had the urge to reveal herself to him, but remembered the ice cream she bought that was melting in the bag, so returned to Misuzu's house. She gave the girls a rundown of what happened between her and Jun, as she blushed just thinking about it. The following day, Jun decided to examine Tomo's face, so she socked him. Later during dodgeball, Tomo scared all the girls away with her alpha male throws. Misuzu explains that Tomo always gets fiery around the annual ball sports tournament. Tomo had to get nerfed, so got transferred to the boys' team with Jun. Their first opponents get overconfident after hearing they're playing a team that has a girl, but they end up getting destroyed. Game after game, Tomo and Jun's team cruise their way to victory. However, for the final they get informed that the opposing team captain, Goma, was an absolute beast and the strongest dude in school. But this just makes Tomo and Jun more fired up to win. The match began and the team captain almost deleted Tanabe when he threw the ball at him. One by one, their team members drop like flies. Tomo threw the ball at him, but he caught it and threw it back 10 times stronger. But Jun sacrificed himself and got between Tomo and the ball. This fired Tomo up as she swore to make him pay. She threw the ball with every ounce of her energy, but it actually turned out to be a pass to Tanabe, who was in position to get an easy cheap shot on Goma and win the match. After the match, Tomo said it was nice to be on Jun's team because it reminded her of when they used to play together as kids. Goma later approached Jun and challenged him to a judo match, to which Jun still whooped his ass at. Goma was shocked at how good Jun was, and asked why he rarely enters tournaments with the talent he has. All Jun ever wanted since he was a kid was to catch up to Tomo's level. While walking with her, Jun felt that things still haven't changed since they were kids, as he still wishes to be as strong as Tomo. As a child, Kubota moved away from Tokyo and the city where Tomo lived. He was playing video games when she came up and asked him for a game console, but she broke it, for which the boy hit the girl in the face. But it seemed to her that this was not enough and she deserved more punishment. Then the girl's father found out about this and also asked for his forgiveness, which is how he met the girl's parents. The next day, they went together to catch the bugs and took Misuzu with them, whose character had not changed over the years. The guy tried to keep up with the girl in many ways, and at first he didn't succeed because she was ahead and stronger everywhere. But over time, he became more energetic and confident. One day he was sitting on a bench playing games. The hooligans approached him and forcibly took away his game console. When Tom asked him why he had scratches, the boy replied that he just fell. One day a girl brought him a game console and said that it was just lying on the road. The boy guessed that she had taken the game console from the bullies and said that she should not have done that. But Tomo said that she would always come to the rescue if needed. The guy gave this game console to Tomo and said that he would take it back when he became stronger than her. 10 years passed and he really became stronger, but he never picked up a game console. Summer has arrived and friends are getting ready to go to the beach. Tomo was embarrassed by Kubota's presence. Already on the beach, the girls changed their clothes and left the locker room. Tomo didn't want to go out and just stood behind the wall. When Kubota approached and tried to pull her out, he first made sure that the girl was wearing clothes. But she still went to the beach in a swimsuit and the girls began to frolic in the water. At some point, a guy came up to Tomo and said that she was very cute. Tomo liked the compliment, but when he called her somewhere away from the beach, she immediately became wary. Kubota approached them and stood up for Tomo, after which the guy fell behind. Misuzu told Tomo to stay close to him to get his attention, and that's all it took. Every time Tomo touched the guy, he immediately went numb and felt different than before. The friends played together and according to the rules of the game, Tomo had to fulfill Misuzu's wish. The girl wished that she would go to the festival with Kubota, just the two of them. Tomo invited the guy to the festival and, surprisingly, he agreed calmly, and not as usual. Tomo came to the festival in a kimono and this really embarrassed Kubota because she was dressed in feminine clothes. Misuzu and Carol were somewhere nearby, watching them. He didn't even let some guy hit on Tomo even though they weren't a couple. As they approached the hill where the fireworks were being set off, Tomo decided that now was the time to confess her feelings once again. But then she quickly changed her mind as she felt that it was too early to move forward, and they just looked at the fireworks. The next day, Tomo told everything about how it happened, and the girls noticed that they were no longer the same as before. Misuzu kept thinking about what would happen to them all later. After all, someday they will have to grow up and make an informed choice. Meanwhile, this gang of hooligans were discussing the fact that they had been bored lately and wanted to get revenge for everything on Tomo. They saw Misuzu walking down the street alone and came up with a plan. They stopped the girl and wanted to take her away, but Carol approached them and tried to help her friend. But Misuzu said that Carol was just a classmate and they had nothing in common. Carol approached the gang leader and hit him with a stun gun. While he was lying on the ground, Misuzu grabbed Carol's hand and they began to run away, but Carol fell into a puddle along the way. And yet they managed to escape, but the hooligans began to look for them following their wet footprints. The girls hid and Misuzu called Kubota for help, but Tomo didn't say anything. The guy did just that, but he couldn't hide this truth from Tomo because she felt that something was wrong. So they went together to save their friends. There, Carol reminded Misuzu that the girl said that she and Carol were not friends. But Misuzu admitted that she said this so as not to drag Carol into these problems and she would not be in any danger. But at that moment the hooligans discovered them and intended to attack. But Tomo approached them from behind and the bully was disarmed. While Tomo and Kubota dealt with their opponents, Misaki followed in their tracks and followed them. He found Carol changing because her clothes were dirty. He decided that the bullies had done something bad to her and became furious, so he attacked the last bully of the gang. But then Carol told what happened to her and the conflict was resolved. Misuzu talked to this guy alone and showed her authority in front of this bully. Misaki studied all the time and had no friends. But one day Carol was brought to visit them and he fell in love with her at first sight. They spent all their time together. Then the guy went to study martial arts to become stronger. There the teacher saw in his eyes a strong spirit hidden deep within. Misaki was supposed to fight Kubota, and the guy noticed that his opponent was hitting with full force. Even Tomo, he did not use such a striking technique. In general, Misaki lost the battle and woke up in Tomo's room, where she came to her senses. Tomo asked the guy why he is becoming stronger and for Carol. It was all like this and Misaki said that he always dreamed of becoming stronger for her sake because she is a clumsy girl and rather fragile. He told Carol about what happened to him and she asked him how the guy felt about Tomo. He said that he admires her and wants to be like her because she is very strong and energetic. Carol started to get jealous and so she came to Kubota and invited him to go for a walk. He was not happy about this, but still the girl convinced him. She was caught doing this by Misuzu, who sensed that something was wrong. But Carol said that Misuzu can't control everyone and Carol left. Kubota and Carol went to the park to watch the game and talked there. The girl said that he likes someone, but not everything is going so smoothly for her. So Kubota agreed to take a walk with her. But it so happened that they ended up in Kubota's house and their Carol began to show tactility and tenderness. This scared the guy, but it was part of his plan. Carol asked him why he was talking to girls for so long, including Tomo, although the guy treats her completely differently. In the end, he just ran up to Tomo, hugged her and began to ask her for forgiveness many times. And then Carol came and apologized to them. She told all this to Misuzu and she realized that Carol was not an ordinary girl and was very insidious. Misuzu knew that Misaki had a crush on Carol and decided to help him confess his love to her. The guy said that he never saw her weak or in a vulnerable position, she always reacted calmly to everything. Therefore, Misuzu took a desperate step, she needed to stir up Carol. She talked to Carol and told the girl that Misaki did not perceive Carol as a girl and did not feel anything for her. After all, earlier Carol tried to make Misaki jealous. Carol then stood up, reacted differently than usual, and ran home from class. Misuzu came to Misaki and told him to quickly run home to Carol since she felt terrible for even running home. When the guy came to her, Carol's mother met him and slapped him in the face, but still allowed him to come to Carol. He found the girl crying and this surprised him very much since he had never seen her cry. Misaki supported the girl, now he could behave like a man. He admitted to Carol that this was all planned, and thus they were able to confess their feelings to each other. The next day, Carol even thanked Misuzu for everything that happened, because now they were able to get closer. There was a running competition at school and Tomo and Kubota had been waiting for this for a long time. When the competition began, the guy and girl ran forward like everyone else. But Misuzu and Carol walked slowly, not caring about the competition. Tomo and Kubota competed at full strength and tried to beat each other. Tomo even skipped a turn to compete with Kubota. As they ran back, Tomo fell on the road and Kubota stopped. He felt that she had a strong fever and the girl did not have the strength to run. He carried her to the aid station, where she remained until the end of the competition. Misuzu said that Kubota took first place. When the guy came again, Misuzu decided to leave and finally told Tomo that this was her chance to become defenseless so that Kubota would take care of her. Therefore, when it was time to go home, Tomo asked the guy to carry her in his arms to the car, although she could already walk. He visited her while the girl was sick and everything went according to plan. During the meeting, Tomo gave the guy that same game console that he had completely forgotten about. Throughout his childhood, he thought that Tomo was a boy, but Tomo did not even suspect it. When they started first grade, Tomo approached a guy in a skirt, which surprised Kubota. Since then, many people thought that they were a couple because they knew that Tomo was a girl. The guy began to avoid her and Tomo did not understand his behavior at all. To get his mind off Tomo, Kubota tried to date Misuzu, and she didn't mind. She knew that it would benefit her and him, but their interests and pace of life did not completely coincide. Therefore, Misuzu decided to break off relations with him, but the guy beat her to it and did it first since he himself understood it. He still decided to come and talk to Tomo, and this surprised her. As they walked home, the girl demanded to know why he had ignored her for so long. The guy replied that there were rumors around school that they were dating and he didn't want Tomo to get in trouble, so he distanced himself from her. This made Tomo even more angry because it was just little things. In the end, they decided that they would continue to communicate and spend time together. Kubota's birthday is coming soon, so Tomo decided to earn extra money. Misuzu decided to help her and also went with her friend. Carol joined them. A classmate heard their conversation and invited all three to work in his establishment. The restaurant was experiencing temporary problems and the owner was looking for someone who could help him. They were accepted almost immediately and given uniforms. They had 3 positions at work, and each of the girls agreed to the one that suited her best. At some point, Kubota came to their work and saw Tomo at work. He was shocked by her appearance and the fact that she worked here. They had a little dialogue and Kubota said that the waitress costume suited her. They worked there for several days and at the end of the day they received their salary. Kubota met Tomo after work and they went home together. On the way, the guy said that he came to this restaurant for her to support Tomo. She was embarrassed by this, but it was the truth. For his birthday, Tomo gave him a watch. Such a gift made Kubota very happy and embarrassed. Tomo had the same watch, and it brought friends together. The girl offered to celebrate his birthday at his home, but he said that his parents wouldn't be home, so it would be best to celebrate at Tomo's house. At school, she again started asking Misuzu for advice on how she could get Kubota's attention faster. Everyone knows that tactility brings people together, and Misuzu came up with a brilliant plan. When Kubota was walking down the stairs towards Tomo, Misuzu pushed him so Tomo could catch him, then they touched each other. But the guy dodged and fell right on Carol, and immediately found himself in an awkward position. Misuzu decided that this plan was too cruel, even for herself. She was ashamed of many of her actions towards Tomo, so she pulled away from him. One day, Misuzu got sick and decided to stay home. Tomo was confused by the fact that she only told Carol about this. 3 days later, Tomo visited Misuzu and even brought her gifts. Tomo said that Misuzu has been talking to Carol lately and only asked why. But Tomo did not receive an exact answer from her. She simply gave Misuzu the text with the script since they were going to stage a play at school. And when Tomo left, she said that Misuzu would be upset over little things if she really was leaving. When the girl came to school, she was angry that she was given the role of Cinderella in the play, but there was nothing to do. Everyone was preparing for the performance and learning their roles. When Misuzu was studying the script with Tomo, she noticed one thing. All this time, Misuzu was telling Tomo that she should be more feminine. But she never said that Tomo is real and all she has is her dignity, which someone will definitely appreciate. And now only Misuzu herself can fix all this. Tomo played the role of the prince, and she tried on a suit that suited her very well. After the rehearsal, Kubota and Tomo returned home, and although Kubota played the role of a tree, they decided to rehearse the words of the main characters from the script. The parents of friends came to the performance. Misuzu told her mother that there wouldn't be a play because she didn't want her to watch it. But mom came anyway and even took out a camera. They played their roles perfectly, and when Tomo came on stage, all the girls were surprised by her appearance. Everyone especially loved it when Tomo and Misuzu danced together like a prince and princess. After the performance, the guys went to the festival where they could eat delicious food and have fun. When it was time to dance, many girls approached Tomo and asked him to dance with them. But when Kubota approached, Tomo immediately agreed. They danced incredibly awkwardly, and Tomo said that everyone would think they were in love with each other. And Kubota said that it was so. This was his declaration of love. Tomo was surprised by his words and immediately ran away from the event. Kubota did not understand the reason for all this and felt guilty. The next day, Tomo did not behave as usual, but was louder and friendlier. Every time Kubota tried to talk to her about his feelings, the girl avoided the conversation. At school, Tomo's friends realized that something had happened between her and Kubota. While Kubota was walking to school, Misaki came up to him and asked him what happened because he was walking sad. Kubota told Misaki everything and even asked for advice. A friend advised him to tell her everything directly and not to hint or speak in riddles, since frankness will be very appropriate. Kubota actually thought about it and thanked his friend for the advice. He then met with Misuzu and apologized to her, because he believed that dating Misuzu without feelings, just for his own benefit, was wrong. But Misuzu told him everything she thought and said that she herself was not in love with him. This is how they established their relationship with each other. He then passed a note to Tomo on behalf of an unknown person, as if challenging her to a personal meeting for a fight. He lured her to the roof and tried to talk again. He said that he remembered her confession then in the garden, and he said it was mutual. Tomo was upset that he only noticed this now, but she couldn't restrain herself and ran away again. The girl told Misuzu everything and she realized that she had ruined everything. Then Misuzu decided to talk to her frankly. The girl apologized and explained to her friend that she should not have changed and become feminine. She is already beautiful and can be loved for who she is. This confession made Misuzu even cry and advised Tomo not to miss his chance and go to Kubota. Tomo finally caught up with him and confessed her love to him. Now they were 100% sure of their feelings and each other's feelings. But now they can't be friends because they are more than friends. This question was even asked by Tomo, but Kubota did not answer anything concrete. He simply called the girl upstairs and ran up to her to catch up with him. Already at the top, the guy said that Tomo was his friend, rival, and beloved girl at the same time. And they don't have to change their relationship, but they can still love each other. After their relationship began, Kubota became calmer towards Tomo. The girl was shy all the time and enjoyed spending time with the guy. Then, on the advice of Misuzu, Tomo took Kubota to a romantic film so that they could kiss and then they would reach a new level of relationship. But the film turned out to be too adult and Tomo was embarrassed throughout the film, but Kubota still sat calmly and unshakably. After the film, they went to a cafe where they gave each other Christmas gifts. But Tomo still wanted to be closer to Kubota, and so when they decided to go home, she said that she would go to his house. They were home alone and tried to talk, but the situation between them was tense. At some point, Tomo couldn't stand it and screamed that she wanted to kiss him, but the guy admitted that he was not ready yet. And then it turned out that he talked to Tomo's family and they said that they were not against their relationship, but first he needed to fight Tomo's father. The girl was angry that now they couldn't date because of her father, and that Kubota hadn't told Tomo anything. The girl even expressed everything to her father, but the decision remained unchanged. At school, they began to communicate less often as Tomo moved away from her boyfriend and friends. The girls even decided to talk about this topic with Tomo and she told them everything. But the problem was that her father is a karate master and it is quite difficult to defeat him and the guy needs serious training. One day, Kubota stood up and told Tomo that today he would fight with her father. And at this time, Kubota unexpectedly appeared to the girl's father and even brought Tomo's mother with him, since he knew that his father was weakening in her presence. They made several attempts and the guy was defeated everywhere, but did not give up. But then Tomo burst into them and said that she would be here. Kubota said that this fight is only between him and her father, but Tomo was not going to rush into a fight between them, but was going to support and be there. And if the guy gets really bad, she will defeat her father herself. This gave Kubota strength and confidence. He still remembered the moments in which Tomo's father could have been vulnerable and in which moments he could have failed. And after some effort, he finally defeated this man. The father was furious, but they had an agreement and Kubota complied with the conditions. Tomo was very happy and hugged the guy with emotion. Left alone, they were still embarrassed for each other. But the guy got ahead of her and told her about it first. Then Tomo came over and suddenly kissed him on the lips. The guy was confused by this action, and Tomo said she was impressed that Kubota beat her father, and she promised to make a better impression on him than he did on her. With this, they agreed that they would compete to see who loved whom more.